Good morning. I have been really looking forward to our walk today. It's a gorgeous morning. The sun is shining. I'm just feeling so happy this morning. I've been really excited about our walk as I go on a pre-walk walk every morning just to have my own personal alone time, listening to Holy Spirit and just connecting and receiving, abiding myself. And I always get, I would call it the download, but it's really the upload of what it is that we're going to be talking about. And God was just saying, this is all about my love. And I started hearing the song, Your Love is Lifting Me Higher. And I thought that was so perfect. It's so true that God's love lifts us higher. And the question came into my mind, what is love? And, I think a lot of people think that love is like helping other people or being kind and using nice manners, being nice. Letting other people do things to you and not retaliating. Lots of different things I think that we've been kind of told love is. And some of those things can be attributes of love, but love is a person and love is a thing. Love is the source of all life, is the power, the energy, the frequency of total perfect love, unconditional love that is the actual spirit of creation, the spirit and the source of all life, and the person and the nature of God or Christ, which is why Jesus was known as the Christ, because of what was inside of him. What was inside of him was the spirit of life, the power of life, the power to overcome death, the power to recreate, to uncreate and recreate. And flowing out of him was this power, this perfect love power that could do anything and restore anybody. And he said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, because what's inside of me is God. It's the source of life, the seed of life, the word of life. And what's happening in our lives is really all about whether or not we're experiencing this love, this same frequency, this same energy and life force. And if we're not, if it's not flowing in us, it's not flowing out of us, and it's not flowing back to us. And so it's really important to realize this. And there's something coming to me earlier, and that was when I was a kid, me and my friends, we would always be reading these scary storybooks. And we just thought they were awesome. Anyways, there was a story in this book, and the story goes that there's a phone call coming, and the scary part of it is it's coming from inside the house. And, that's the freaky part, is the scary thing, it's not outside the house, it's inside the house. And it's the same with us. That's the way it is. It's whatever is happening in our life that is not love, that we're experiencing, it's because of what's already inside of us that is not resonating with the frequency of agape love, perfect love, unconditional love. Which means, well, when Jesus was saying, it's not what's outside of you that defiles you, it's what's inside of you that does. And as a person believes in their heart what they feel to be true, that's what they will experience in their life. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And so it's happening starting from within, and it's happening outside because it's happening inside. And receiving of God's love that is already within you, like we talked about earlier, being an actual well, where on our innermost being there is this secret well of life that flows up, the energy and the life force of Christ inside of us. But sometimes we never open up the well. And if we never open up the well, that love cannot permeate our being and it cannot flow out. And so what's coming to me right now is this example of it. Like, if you have an experience of feeling like you're rejected by other people over and over again, you are actually first rejecting yourself. And that love that's inside of you, that's already there, has not overcome this other frequency, this feeling, this word, this seed that's inside. And I know we did touch on this the other day, but it's really coming to me strongly right now from the Holy Spirit that this is something that is so easily overcome. And how to do it is so simple. If you're resonating with something, say rejection, because we were just talking about that, and it's happening to you over and over again, there's like this barrier here, and it's formed by what you're already feeling is true about yourself inside your heart. And so anytime somebody tries to love you, that frequency, that energy is actually pushing away the love that's trying to come and comfort you, and give you the experience of being loved from somewhere else. And so what to do is, when you're feeling, goodness, I do not feel like I love myself, I have rejected myself first. You must always receive first in order to be able to give and receive back. And so in order to not have that anymore, you must acknowledge it within you and say, oh my goodness, here I am, not loving myself unconditionally. Here I am rejecting myself for whatever reason. I don't feel that I'm as good as so-and-so, or that I'm unlovable for some reason. I don't love myself, and I'm not allowing the love, that source of life and creation and that power that is God's love, to love me. And so let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's let that love that's inside of us already, down in the middle of our being, our innermost being, let's let that love flow out for ourselves. And that feeling of rejection we just say, Christ, I allow your love to overcome this in me. I allow your love to flow freely in my heart and in my mind. And I choose to allow you to remake my heart in your perfect love. And that love will start to envelop that feeling that you had there before. And it will disappear. And all that you will be experiencing is love. And it is power. It's not just, being nice. It is being nice to yourself in this moment. But, you can always tell when something is born of love because you'll feel God behind it. You'll feel the realness of it. You won't just be pretending to be nice or doing the polite thing or serving because you were told that's what people who love God do. They serve. But if you're just doing it because you were told to, it's not born of love. And there's no power behind it. And I think this is why people have such a hard time feeling like they have to try to be something that they're not. But you don't ever have to try to be something that you're not. You are already perfect love. Because God is in you and He's perfectly loving you right now. And all you must do is allow that perfect love to come and love you where you don't feel loved inside. And then what will flow out of you will be a free flow of that love out into the world, turning enemies into brothers and sisters. And now, where you were having trouble with people receiving you because you weren't receiving you, now you will allow them to be received by you. And you will allow their love to come. And now you're part of the reconciliation of all things. Rejoining body part to body part. It's amazing. I mean, it works for anything and anybody. I mean, if you have, say you're having difficulty with, a certain politician or something, you feel angry and you're frustrated, the same thing works. You flow that love to that person, and suddenly you experience the love of God for that person, and you can see that person the way that God sees them, and that enables Christ to begin to work in their heart and mind, and then they'll become who they truly are, who they always were, but maybe they didn't even know. So we get to be a part of the uncreating of what isn't truth about ourselves and others, and the recreating and the rejoining of all of us together with the perfect love and the union of God. And the freedom and the free expression of love that flows from that is amazing. It is more powerful than anything else because it truly is a power. And this works too with different things in your life that you're kind of tied to, the things that make you angry. Like, I can remember I used to be so angry about being late because I felt like it was just very rude to be late because you're thinking about yourself and not the other person who's waiting for you. Or I guess that was the main reason I didn't want to ever be late. I always wanted to make a good impression and let that person know that I found them valuable. So if my family was running late, I'd be the one in the car waiting for them, and I would get so mad. And it was just really starting to not be fun for me or anybody else to be mad on my way to an event if we were running late. And then God told me, you are emotionally tied to being late. And because of it, it keeps happening in your life. Now, I would be on time if I was going, but if I was going with other people, it seemed like I was just tied to this emotion of being late, and it just kept happening, and I would feel frustrated. And God said, just disentangle from that fear and that frustration of being late, and let my love envelop that. And so I did. I allowed the love of Christ to disentangle me emotionally from the fear and the frustration of being late, or the worry of being late, and the concern of it. And all of a sudden I felt it dissipate out of me. And now that isn't going to be happening anymore. And if it did, I wouldn't be angry about it. So I love this. The power to loose ourselves from things that are not life-giving, and the power to join with what is life-giving through the Spirit of Christ, which is love. And I love being in love. I love being in love with you. I love being in love with me. I love that God's love is what is joining us together, and that it's a real thing. It's not just some religious thing that we're trying to be or do because we're trying to be right or do what we think is right. It's the actual force of God, the one that created all of this. Oh my goodness, all of this beauty. It's made of love. You're made of love. I always sing with the preschoolers this song. It's just really short. It goes, God's love changes things. God's love changes things. God's love changes me. God's love changes me. Are you the most amazing thing to experience it within yourself? So now the calls coming from within the house are great. They're not scary. And what's happening inside of you is creating what's happening outside of you. And when it's happening in love, there is no more fear. Perfect love casts out all fear. But we have to let it flow, right? We have to let it come up and overtake what isn't love so we can experience it. And then, you know, what we can do is we can open our hearts and flow the love of Christ, the actual Spirit of Christ, the actual Spirit of reconciliation, of union, of life to one another. I'm just allowing that love to flow out of me to you right now. I love you so much. I'm so excited for you to experience more love and more life. And I just thank you so much for joining me today. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I bless you, and I'm going to let my love flow to you all day today. See you tomorrow.